All right, so the first thing I like to do is get a couple of buckets. I like to make sure that they're clean, that they haven't had a lot of things in them, like chemicals and stuff like that. That way it just doesn't cross-contaminate anything. You can use pails. I use 5-gallon buckets. I get more dirt than I guess I need to, but I stir it all together once it dries up a little bit before I package it to send it away. So I'll show you how I do it. It's simple. I just mark the buckets with tape. That way you don't get them confused with the different fields. Because it is very important when you're doing the application or form to fill out with this that you're very specific on what you're going to be planting in that field so that they know what the recommendations are to get the soil to where it needs to be as far as the pH is concerned. So like I said, I just basically use painter's tape and a Sharpie. I mark them for however many fields I decide to plant in one year, or I mean, it's up to you how you want to do it. Obviously, I'm just giving you my, well, it's up to you how you do it. I just found this to be easier. Keeps me organized, keeps my fields labeled in the right areas. Because the very first time I did it, I had to go back out and redo it because I didn't remember what bucket was what, because I forgot to mark it. So I do this before I even take it out in the field now. I determine how many crops I'm going to be planting in the year, and I determine where I'm going to separate my fields based on the crops. So when I fill out the application, on the inside of the soil sample package, which is very, very easy to do, I'll show you how to do that later on in the video. I know what field that I'm planning on planting things, and I know what dirt is associated with each field. Like I said, it matters what the pH levels are for them to determine what it is that you need to reproduce in your field chemically or biologically. So this is all I'm doing. I literally just put F1 for field 1, F2, F3, and so on. F2, F3, and F4. It's that simple. Really the only tools required for this are the buckets to retain the dirt and a soil sample plug puller, or you can use a shovel, whichever. I like the puller because it gets to the right depth. You can set the depth in. It's easier to just pull it out and drop it in, and you don't have 25 holes in your field when you're done trying to get your samples. What I was referring to as the soil plug remover. I like this. They were a little bit more expensive than I thought they were, but there are cheaper versions out there. I went with this one because it's a little heavier duty than some of the other ones I looked at, but the features are very, very simple. It's a T-handle, it's got a footstool so you can push it in. When you push this in, this will rise up to whatever depth you have it set at, and simply put it in your bucket and drop it, and it knocks the mud out. You can set the depth with this set screw here for whatever you desire. I take out about 4 inches or 5 inches. That gets me through the top soils all the way down to the compost levels and stuff. So yeah, I got this off of eBay. Like I said, I think I paid a little bit more than $100 for it. And there were some on there for $20 or $15. It's whatever fits in your budget. It's a tool that you don't use very often, but when you do, it serves the purpose that it's supposed to do, and I just didn't want it to break while I was out there in the field. You can use a spade shovel, you can use a hand shovel, it's up to you. I like this because it doesn't leave ruts in my field. I'm not digging a bigger hole than what I really need to, and I find it to be a lot faster. The first time I did it with the shovel, and it was kind of frustrating to me, especially I have rocky soil too, so I felt like I kept hitting a rock every 2 or 3 holes that made me have to get and move over. But now that we have the buckets and the soil plug puller, let's head out into the field and show you how to do it out there. Okay, so here we are out in the field. I'm starting on this side. I've designated this as field 1, just like we saw in the buckets. I've split this field into 3 sections, and then I have another field this year that I'm going to plant for the first time. This is really as easy as it seems. I don't know why some people are intimidated by it. I've seen several other videos on this, but literally just take that tool and you plunge it into the ground. Give it a twist, it gives you your core, and you pop it into your bucket. You want to do this a lot. You want to get as even of an area covered as you can, because the prime example on this field is I have 3 different soil types. So you want to intermix as much of it as you can, and then I'll stir this up together and break it up and combine it into one mixture. But it gives them a baseline of, for lack of a better word, the average of whatever minerals and stuff you need to put back into the ground. So I'll do this. You'll see me on the video going to the different sections, and then moving on progressively to the other fields. But yeah, it's super simple. So stick around, enjoy the ride, and I'm gonna fill my bucket. Alright guys, now that I have that done, that's field 1. See, it doesn't take very long at all. The bucket's about a quarter of the way full. We'll move on to the next field. It's the same thing, repeat process. When we get over to the field number 4, that field hasn't been planted in probably over 30 years. This field was only planted last year for the first time in 30 years. So the soils are varying back, swaying back and forth really. But yeah, I'll move on to the next one, and we'll get going with the video. So the field that we're in right now would be a good example of why I like the plug machine better than using a shovel. I have not tilled this field or done anything with this field other than spray at one time last year, and I'll show you. It's thick with a lot of vegetation. There's a lot of rocks still in here, so trying to dig this with the shovel would be pretty much downright miserable, to be quite honest with you. So the plugger comes in and it'll just drop a small area in and a less surface area, so it's a lot easier to get the material that we need. Looks like a turkey had an unfortunate experience right here. We've seen some bobcat on the property lately, so maybe that was what they had for dinner. Anyway, I'm not going to bore you with this field. This is pretty much just like the other ones. I'm going to walk around and take plugs about every 20 or 30 yards. This one I expect to have a lot different pH levels than the field that we were in prior, because like I said, I didn't farm this one yet, and it had been roughly 30 years since this one was farmed by a hay farmer prior to that. So it was pretty much waist high briars and bushes and trees when I got it a couple years ago. So anyway, I'm gonna get to it. Okay folks, so what I do now is I let my dirt dry for a couple days. You don't have to, but water adds weight to shipping, and I don't want any molds or anything to get in these things. As you can see, the plug pulls things out about this size, just a couple inches, makes it easy to break up when it's dry. And in about 2 or 3 days, I'll come in here and mix these all together in their individual bucket, bag them up, which I'll show you how to do in a few minutes in this video, and then
fill out the paperwork and send it in. It's really that easy.
Okay, YouTube, today is the day that we've been waiting for. It's the end of the soil sample testing. As you can see on the table, I have the seeds that I'm planning on planting this year. I have some crimson clover, some imperial clover, black oil sunflower seeds, a mixture of Goliath sunflower seeds, and some multicolored sunflower seeds, and some sweet corn. So that's my 4 fields. The clovers, sometimes I'll mix them up to get a variety of clover in each field, but this year I think I'm going to stick with separation to see how they do individually. On the table here, you're going to see the packet and what is involved in the soil sample kit. Like I said, I am not sponsored by any of these products or any of these manufacturers. These are simply what I found and what I like so far. I did find that the Whitetail Institute soil samples are very simplistic to use. Not that the other ones aren't. You can a lot of times go to your county website and they'll have a division that does soil samples. I'm not sure what the turnaround time is for those. I do know that the Whitetail Institute, within 24 hours of them receiving it, they will email you a copy of a report and then send you a hard copy of a report, which I think took like 3 or 4 days after I got the email. So roughly within the week, you should have your answers. The instructions are super simple. You just follow the information on the paper. Everything's highlighted for you. Simple questions: name, address, phone number. It asks you whether you're establishing a new field or maintaining an existing field. You can put your email address on here, like I said, to get the email version of it. You can copy or underline, score any of their products, like the Imperial Whitetail Clover I'm using is actually a whitetail product. So if I circle this, they can give me an even more accurate description of what I need for that. It shows you different ways to do the sample. It gives you very clear instructions to take it from 10 to 20 separate locations within the area. It tells you to put this application inside of this bag, not to send it separate. Like don't put the dirt in here and then put the paper with it, because it has to be inside the soil sample bag in order for them to do it. There's a checklist so you don't forget what it is, and a simple sticker for the box for a mailing address. There's a line on the bag right here. You don't want to fill it past that, because if you do, the potential of it overfilling the bag and breaking the bag open, I guess is pretty high, because they specify it in here. It's written in red and underscored. So that's it. We will now go about showing you how to do it. It's, again, super simple. Address information on here is the same that's going to match the address and information on the bag. The application goes inside the bag. Make sure that your checklist is complete. Put the tag on the box. Take it to UPS, FedEx, or US Postal. Send it off, and within a couple days, bang, you know what you need to put on your field. You can go to your local Tractor Supply or bulk agricultural store and get the materials that you need. Last year, I believe I needed 2.5 tons of lime and 900 pounds of fertilizer. But like I said, that was the first time these fields have been, planted in almost 30 years that I know of. So the pHs were kind of all over the place. And there's different soils in my fields too. I have 3 different soils. So yeah, we'll go about doing this, and I'll take you to the very last step of it. So, okay guys, just so I can explain it better, here's the application, or the form rather, to fill out with the soil sample. This is your simple check off. It's your address box, your soil sample bag. They come in containers like this, right here. I ordered these on Amazon. I got a bulk 12 pack, I believe it was, when I first bought it, and it seemed to have been
significantly cheaper. I think if I bought them individually, they were like 14 bucks. But I think buying them I think I only paid around $10 for it. You're gonna need an empty box, and I just kept one of the seed boxes, and I actually kept the bubble wrap that comes with it, so that I can put it around the dirt won't slide around. And like I said, this is this year's seed that I will be planting in the 4 fields. So that's the whole kit and caboodle. Here's your dirt samples that we took the other day. You'll notice that they're much more dried out and ready to go. I broke the clumps down quite a bit. You do, like this is a good example, there's foliage in there. Although that's good for your soil, you don't want to add a lot of that to your mix if you can help it. So you want cleaner dirt. It's okay if you get some in there, you just wouldn't want to add a whole bunch of it.
Alright, all I've done so far is I've filled out my name and address. I'm marking maintaining existing field because I'm doing these in order, so this is field number 1. It's a simple checkoff box. This is going to be the sweet corn. So I'm going to check my side over here and see if there's anything specific for sweet corn. I don't see it. It adds at the bottom, it says other crop. So I'm going to put sweet corn right here. And that's done. I filled out the same thing on my my bag, my dirt receiver bag. It doesn't ask you all the other questions. It simply asks your name, address, state, zip code, and what field number it is, and that's just so when you get the form, which I'll show you last year's in a few minutes so that you can see what they look like. But when you put this form inside this bag, everything stays in unison, and your report will come out with whatever field number it is, so it's easier for you to maintain your information. All right, so that's done. What we're going to do now is open the bag. Simple, small bag. I don't know, maybe 2x4, probably. All right, I look for my bucket that has field number 1 written on it. That's 4. Field 1. So I simply just take the dirt from this bucket and put it in this bag. I can use my hand for that, not hard. This dirt is significantly more dried out than it was the other day. So not only does it make it lighter, but it makes it easier to work with. So, okay, that's about it. I filled it right to my line. Then I take this paper, double checking the instructions one more time. Like soil sample. The soil sample collected should be from 10 to 20 locations on the property. We did that. We mixed the cores together, printed clearly. This sheet is going to go into the bag. So now I simply put this sheet of paper in the bag, like so. I fold it over, and I close the top. All right, folks, once I put my return address on here,
take it to UPS, and that's it. That's all. Like I said, in reality, it takes me a few days to do it only because I like to let the dirt dry out a little bit. And it is actually recommended in the instructions that you do the same. I don't know if it affects their tests or not, but it definitely affects the weight of the material and the consistency of the material. So that's it. I'm gonna put the return address on here, go pay for shipping, and send it on its way. And I will. Alright folks, I did say that I was going to show you an example. This is last year's soil sample report that I got back for one of the fields. It has your name and address up here, but I obviously blocked it out for YouTube. But it gives you your soil samples, it gives you your actual pH balance of the soil that's in there now, how much of it is an organic matter, what you're going to need to add to it in order to get it closer to 7, or whatever it is particular that the material is that you're planting too. It gives you different breakdowns for your fertilizers. This last year was a sunflower or a concealment plot with the whitetail concealment package. So it gives you your 2 different fertilizer types regarding that. It breaks down your application per acre or square feet, which I also found to be very helpful in setting my spreader last year. So anyway guys, I hope this helps. You know, sometimes it's easier just to watch somebody else do it and you know, knock it out. But I highly recommend it. It makes a huge difference in the way things grow. And you know, basically you're building your soils back up and you can work from there. So like I said, if you liked it, like, share, subscribe, make a comment if you want, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.